All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and move into who's who and what's new. And just to remind you
Let's do
guys,
it.
each week we do not crosstalk these. We don't pre-plan
Nope.
these day of.
Nope.
I go out and I see what's been trending this week. I grab the stuff
Yep.
that interests us the most and
Yep.
we talk about it. So here we go. Boom. All right. This one is concerning me heavily because I have friends that are stationed there and friends of mine, including myself, that pass through Hawaii quite often. Maui wildfires rage across the island as death toll climbs, according
Mm.
to a CNN report. So, yes, Maui's on fire. Last time that I saw the toll, it was at 67 and climbing, with many more missing.
Mm.
I am hoping any minute now to hear. Oh, actually, breaking right now, the governor did just declare a state of emergency. Outstanding. I hope to see the wealth and prosperity of the United States poured out on our fellow countrymen down there to save them. And let's go save Americans. I'm all about that. I hope you guys would join us in praying for our fellow countrymen in Hawaii.
Yes.
This is I put out a little bit of a joke about it earlier, and that just comes from a point of, you guys may agree with it, you may not. Something that I've learned in the military is sometimes you have to laugh to keep from crying, because when you deal with stressful situations a lot, and I am a medic on top of all that, so we tend to have twisted senses of humor in general, but I guarantee you there is nothing funny about this situation, and I am praying for the people of Hawaii. I hope this
Absolutely.
situation gets resolved
Absolutely.
quickly. You have anything you want to add about it, or anything else you know about it?
Uh, no, you caught me off guard with this one. I have not heard anything about it, but when anybody loses anything for any reason, but specifically here we're talking about the stress and so forth of losing things in a fire. You lose your home, you lose all your possessions. I came upon a guy one time. We had fires around here, and somebody said, "Well, do you know anybody to call?" And he's like, "Man, my phone was in the
Right,
fire. I don't even have a way to call."
right.
So, yeah, when you lose everything like that and it just goes up and it's burning right in front of your eyes, let's just keep them in your prayers.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, moving right along. So this one is also concerning me greatly, because just talk about things being just out and in the open. Like, they're not even hiding it anymore. This is according to a Fox News report. The J6 committee failed to preserve records, has no data on Capitol Hill security failures, GOP charges. So, as the indictments of the former president are moving forward, he's at 3. They're looking at indicting him in Georgia. That'll be number 4. This is a
Mm.
very, very concerning pattern of behavior, and I'm downplaying that with my words. Like, we've
Mm.
never seen stuff like this in the United States before, and this panel, the committee here in the Senate, went through thousands and thousands of hours of footage, through witness testimony, depositions, and when you are indicted and stand in court, one of the things that is supposed to happen is, as from from the point of being a defendant, you legally have the right to look at everything that you are being charged with. That is
Hmm.
to be turned over to you. It's part of our rights as Americans to stand, to have your day in court, and to redress your charges.
It's called discovery, but yeah.
Right. They they've destroyed what the GOP is charging, is that they failed to preserve up to, they're saying, almost half of the evidence that they went through.
I heard that it's all
You're saying, oh, well,
that the radio article. Now they may have been misquoting or whatever,
mm,
but the radio article I listened to was all, and also said, well, there wasn't anything that said that they had to keep it because of the type of hearing that it was. And that's not true. But that is what is reported up here on local radio.
man, just absolutely disgraceful. I mean,
Yeah,
this
what
is some of the most partisan behavior that I've witnessed in my 33 years.
it is very partisan
It's
behavior because we have this thing called exculpatory evidence. And in our law, in order to be absolutely fair, even if you're prosecuting and you want to take somebody down, if you have what is called exculpatory evidence, or the evidence that proves their innocence, you are to give it and you are to relay it to the defense, even if you're the prosecution.
right.
Of course, the defense obviously is presenting their evidence, but in discovery, that's where you take all the evidence and everybody shares all the evidence. One of the things that our listeners need to understand, there really is supposed to be no such thing of what you've seen on Perry Mason or some of the other Law and Order and these different things, where at the
Dun
last minute
dun.
they come walking in they come walking in with this evidence. Oh, Your Honor, we've discovered something new. That would actually create a mistrial,
Correct.
because that is not
Because
allowed.
the defense wasn't
All
given the opportunity to review.
to review the evidence. All evidence is to be brought in the beginning. If there is the possibility that more evidence is going to be presented, you get a stay and they hold off on the trial until all evidence is brought in. And so that's
Well,
some of the
and
reasons why trials go as long as they do, because the prosecution is waiting, because they're taking things to labs and things like that. So they're waiting for their evidence to come
yeah.
in, which they are required to share with the defense. Go
It
ahead.
almost makes you wonder if the whole point of it is to ensure that there is a mistrial, so that way you can just indict, force your opponent to endure political punishment for showing up in indictments so often, but then never actually have to follow through with a criminal trial based on how flimsy your evidence is.
Yeah.
Just
I
saying.
can't, yeah,
Just saying.
I can't
Pure
say
conjecture, but just saying.
100% for sure, but their actions give you the feeling that there was exculpatory evidence involved, and they did not want that to come out, because that means that they did not follow correct procedure, that there was evidence that would have absolutely negated their case and they should have been off of it. That's the only reason why you would destroy evidence.
I mean, it kind of
they're
makes you wonder: are these people like brilliantly malicious, or are they just that incredibly incompetent?
I watched 2 days.
I mean,
I watched
seriously
two
though.
days of the one impeachment trial, and there is a huge amount of incompetence, and there is equal amounts of maliciousness. And you put the
It's
two
kind
of
of
them.
reminding me of the who was the young man there in Kenosha, Wisconsin, that was involved in the shooting a few years ago, Kyle Rittenhouse.
Kyle
It's
Rittenhouse,
almost
yeah.
reminding me of watching the Kyle Rittenhouse trial all over again, and just the pure
Mm-hmm.
incompetence. All right, moving right along.
All right, let's do
All
it.
right, so people are saying this story is dead, but I kind of like watching it decompose after, post-mortem. Anheuser-Busch, so this is AB InBev, slashes craft beer portfolio, selling 8 brands to Tilray, which is a competitor of theirs. So this is a big deal because oligarchy, giant corporations like AB InBev, you don't sell brand names. The whole idea of business is to, if you guys have seen
is
the
huge.
Lorax, I bigger and bigger and bigger till I can't bigger anymore, till I own everything, right? And so the fact that they're offloading, and one of the brands that they're offloading is Shock Top, which is a very popular big brand as far as like craft brews are concerned. But anybody that came out on the other side of this and said like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, the boycott's not going to last that long, they're not losing that much stock price. Oh, conservatives are just being whatever. The evidence would suggest otherwise.
My understanding is now the loss is into its 17th week. There have
Has it only been 17 weeks?
I believe that's what I heard.
Man, this summer's flown by.
But 17 weeks of a loss. And also, it is my understanding that there have been workers' layoffs now because of it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And now we're selling 8 brands. There's
And
severe
not like
hemorrhaging.
not like the
Tell us
small,
about
not the
hemorrhaging.
small
What do you got to
brands
do
either.
when there's
You
hemorrhaging?
got to stop the bleed at some point.
Okay. And so, or you do what?
Die.
There you go. And
And that's what we
it's
got
the
for you guys
same in
today.
business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, the moral of the story is, don't spit in the face of the people that buy your product. This is Business 101. That's what we got for you guys this week on Who's Who and What's New. Hope you guys enjoyed going through the headlines with us. And please stick around for the keeping the main thing the main thing. We'll see you over there.
See you there.